Okay, we've had a couple questions from people out there, and one of them was Tara from Austin, Texas. Tara, we're going to answer your question. She asked, what do? I've been attacked by a man grabbing my chest like this and holding me in position. This is a very common type of street attack. We're going to show you a couple of options against this. One of the first things you guys can agree upon is it's a really dumb attack. Why? Obviously, they give you their primary weapons. So it would be like me trying to rob Cole here, and me having a knife and saying, give me your wallet. He would be very scared of that, and he'd give me his wallet. But this type of attack is so dumb because it's like me going, here, take that. Now give me your wallet. It's very dumb for me to give him my weapon. But that's what they're doing. When someone walks up to you and does this, they're giving you their best two weapons, your left and your right hand. We've already established it's a dumb attack. It's not the best one. And the more that you train, the less that you'll panic when someone does grab you. Well, if he's grabbing me, the last thing I want to do is freeze and panic. Think about all of the things around these two weapons he's giving me. I'm scared of this, but I shouldn't be scared because he's giving me his best weapons. And now he's completely open and unprotected around him. We'll show you a couple things to do. These aren't really fancy techniques, but they work out on the street. Make sure when you guys do these at home, you're very careful and that you do not do these to your family or friends. And obviously, you should get to a dojo to train these because without muscle memory, you won't remember how to do them. You'll just panic. So let's start with the first one.
Get over here. Stop! Get back!
Now that you just saw was when someone actually gets a purchase, a hold of you. Obviously, you can move before, during, or after the attack, if I might. If he's coming in to grab me and I just shift off line, that is what we call preemptive, and it's going to stop the attack from even happening. But in this case, the attack grabbed, hold, and they start to have control. They're either going to do three things. They're going to push, pull, or hold you still. Most of the time, people tend to push you, but sometimes they whip you around and throw you into a locker or something. But again, if he comes in and I just move off line, that would be more high level, but I'm really not stopping the fight, I'm just making it longer. Mr. Holt here allowed himself for this particular technique to get grabbed. First thing he did was get kamae. If you notice, if you pan down, his knees are bent and he bladed slightly, getting his groin off line so that Mr. Murray cannot attack. What was your first move there? A knee?
Moving in, pushing the elbows.
Yeah.
Knee to groin.
Yep, so a general knee strike to the groin is a very effective technique, and it works very, very well in this situation because, stand up, Mr. Murray is focused up here with his grab. This is where his attention is. He will not notice you attacking from underneath. And then from there, because of his position of his head, which would go forward, Mr. Holt just starts to smash him with some left cross strikes, grabs his hair and starts hitting. If you're a smaller person, you may not want to engage the opponent like that. Who wants to engage this disgusting human that attacked you? You want to get away and run for help. If I can ask you to do something like that, but to disengage after the knee and with the first hit.
Stop!
That is better for self-defense. You hit a couple times and run to safety if you can. You don't want to engage someone that's huge and strong because they're just going to be angry at that point.
Stop! Back off! Leave me alone!
All right, in that case, Mr. Murray preempted the attack, so he used ma'ai, the distance between them. As he approached, he can feel this. He doesn't like someone that close. He reaches in to grab. He backs away and strikes up with his knuckles. Very effective. It's almost like a hoko no kamae. Hitting these very painful spots under the elbow and the funny bone there. Watch that approach again. Watch how he matches his distance. By doing that, he's damaged him and moved back, and he did not allow him to get a purchase. One more time, a little faster. Very nice. That sets up a perfect distance for some sort of kick. He's going to do a push kick, a stomp kick. He could also do it again, please. He could do a rising shin kick if the groin is open. He just lifts his foot, kick a field goal. Hopefully the guy's down for the count. Maybe not, we don't know. Afterwards, there's he might want to disengage, so he might hit, kick, and run. So show a version where you run or move away. That's it. Very good. Excellent. Understand that cameras will pick up both people, so how do we know who's the assaulted and the assaulter? We don't. That's why you need to use your voice. It's extremely important, especially those of you who know you're going to be on film. People are going to sit there and document what you're doing. For the court of law, Judge Judy, whatever, you need to have vocal on there. You need to have audio. So he is going to use some words that a nice lawyer would say, hey, he was the good guy, he was the bad guy. So let's hear some dialogue.
Come here. Back off. Leave me alone.
Excellent. So that was clear to me that he was the good guy and the bad guy. You have to do that. It's very, very important.
Come with me.
Get your hands off me!
Come with me.
Get your hands off me! So for everyone out there, this particular attack is a real fear of mine. Being a female in martial arts and being someone who's a little younger, I often have to think about these situations in advance and just kind of discover what works for me and what I would actually do for self-defense. So I'm someone who prefers striking and hitting as a method of getting attackers away from me, so this would kind of reflect somebody who leans more towards that in self-defense. So there's a big opening right up the middle here, so what I did first was monitoring here and then hitting straight up to get his focus away from the center.
What did you do after that? Because it was hard to see.
From here, I was up, I had my elbow forward, so I hit that in, and then for a triple strike, shuto, to get him away.
So we have an upward fudo, elbow to the sternum, Budo Taijutsu, and maybe a cross punch if he's still close to follow up. So that's 4 strikes within 1 second. Watch it again just a little bit quicker now with the flow.
Stop it! Leave me alone. Stay away from me.
Get over here.
Stop it! Leave me alone.
It's very important in self-defense that you don't engage with the opponent. She did all she could do. She used her voice. She put her hands up and she backed up at the proper distance to keep him off of her. She said, "Get your leave me alone, back off," all of these appropriate things. At some point, though, he closed the distance and grabbed. One of the best things you can do is just to take your hands like you're clapping and to box the ears. She's going to hit the ears, pushing air into the eardrums, perhaps rupturing them. So just like clapping a cymbal together, you can imagine that hit, what that would do to his inner ear there. That is really going to damage someone. After she hits him, he's stunned from that point. What was the next thing you did?
A rising shin kick.
A rising shin because the groin is open. She just took that opportunity and kicked there. And then she saw that this was open, very vulnerable. She jumped because of her body size to get all of that gravity and just smashed him with 2 fists, enough to maybe knock him down or stun him. And then she ran or backed up for safety. One more time with some flow. She maintained her distance, but it wasn't good enough. Her hands were up. She used her voice. He still closed that gap. First thing she did is box the ears. Bang! And then she sees the groin is open, rising shin kick. She jumps and hits down. That gives her full body power, and she runs to the police station or somewhere to safety before he gets back up. So remembering what we're doing for self-defense, it's very, very different than a sport. The idea is not to engage with the opponent, but to escape. We have to ask ourselves, are we going to preempt the attack? Are we going to wait till they grab? Are we going to run early? Not even show up that day? All these things come into a factor. If I have my distance, he cannot reach me from here. So you want to maintain as far distance as you can and put those hands up. That may stop him. If he continues to come in, I maintain that distance if I can and do something. So if he's coming in, I may want to stop him and then hit him. That's one option, is to strike first. I feel he's coming in. I just get this gut urge he's coming in. As he comes in, I want to kick first and then move in. So having that element of surprise, that first shot, could be what makes you survive. If he gets a purchase, remember, the first thing you're going to do is panic, and he has good power and control here. But if you sink your body, this is gravity, you want to make sure you sink and not panic. And the only way not to panic is to train in a dojo. You're not going to get it from a book or a DVD. Remember, he's giving you his primary weapons, not very smart. So earlier we saw boxing the ears. His head is open. Don't forget, just a nice old-fashioned cross punch to break his teeth or his lips or whatever. Any type of hit you can do to his face, like a little punching bag, is going to work. Another thing you can do if you want to be a bit more cruel is you grab and you dig your thumbs into his eye sockets here or into his cheekbones. Another thing you can do if you close in is grab him and drive your thumbs into his neck and squeeze your thumbs together till they touch in the middle of the trachea here. So you apply pressure here. That will give you the controlled knee and hip. Use your digits, use what's open, become a tiger and just dig things in. You could scratch from here. We could elbow from here. We can hit his hands here using the Shikan Ken knuckles on the back of his hands, just hitting these down like a xylophone. Those should come off. You can also hit the arms here, down, with a couple shuto. You can use your hit this way and collapse down and then hit. It's kind of endless. It's really hard to even pinpoint. There are literally dozens of techniques from here. You can push his arms across and affect his balance that way. You can just come in with a knee from here and then a kick to his hip to drive him back. Grabbing the groin from there. Again, this is self-defense. You need to do something to hit him back. I can push his hip here and push that to give me the space I need, get that thing off and run. Going down even lower. Don't forget, if you have shoes on, you can kick his shin. You can stomp on his foot here. These fancy type of takedowns where I use my knee against his to press him to the ground. A lot of stuff we can do. It's endless. You can headbutt here. You can grab and lift and throw the opponent. I don't recommend that for self-defense. It's low probability. High probability is just a hit to the gut and a cross. Again, it's kind of hard to do because there's so many options. The whole point of this video is that you're not a victim. If you get held by someone and you freeze because you're scared, that's very natural, but it's not going to make you win in the end. You have to train through that fear so that when someone does grab you, you are not going to be a victim. It's so funny because they grab you, then you grab them. So now I have you. And if you go through life with that mentality, you're never going to be picked on because you're going to emulate a confidence that we all train for. That's why we're here. So Tara, I hope this answered your question on behalf of all of us here at the dojo. Thank you. These things are important to address when you're being attacked out on the street. What do I do? Again, the best thing you can do is find a dojo, local dojo, support them, and train in these techniques because, again, just to watch them won't do us any good. So until next time, keep your questions coming. On behalf of the dojo, thanks for watching.